Hello and welcome to another edition of Workforce Water Cooler. I'm Leslie. Joining me is Brian and John. And guys, we're talking about neighbors and being good neighbors and acts of kindness and all of that kind of stuff. Do you all have any memorable stories that go with neighbors or community or acts of kindness that you would like to share to get us rolling?
No.
Absolutely, Leslie. How much time do we have?
We have as much time as you want because this is good stuff.
Well, I'll just say that a quick story from my perspective that I was impacted by the tornadoes that came through here, in December, and it was it was conflicting, not weird, it was conflicting to not go out and help others because I had suffered some damage as well. And then my wife was out of pocket a lot with her job and having to respond. And so I had, the kids, schools were shut down, and then we rolled right into the winter break. And so it was sort of like, well, I can't just leave my kids. And those first couple of days, we didn't have any power or anything like that. So as much as I might have wanted to get out, I couldn't. But it kind of dragged on as far as me cleaning up my own property still. And so there was a tremendous response community wide with the tornadoes and all kinds of good stories, and probably some that'll never be, widely known or told. But, the simple one for me is just that I got to the point where I was like, I need a volunteer crew to come help me. I'm just not going to get this done fast enough. And there was a looming deadline for when you had to have your, stuff get picked up by the FEMA trucks to get loaded and hauled off. And so I tapped into the group that was organized by Living Hope Church, that had a lot of massive volunteer coordination going on. And so I got a reply. I got a few people that came out and looked at things, and then they basically ordered up a group that came. And so the ones that ended up coming were my high school former physics teacher and algebra teacher. They were a married couple, Dr. J and Mrs. Jenkins, and several from their church, including parents of a good friend of my wife's. And I mean, it was just like, wow, these, they're out, they're older than me, and they're out here, busting up a fence. And they brought their children, their grandchildren. In fact, their son, who was a teacher, Mr. Jenkins, and I had him as a student teacher. I mean, it was just amazing, right? So it's sort of like this little mini reunion, but there they were helping. And of course I jumped in and helped them, but and then it started to rain, and I was like, you guys don't have to stay. They're like, nope, we're getting this done. And so, I mean, they got it all hauled out to the front yard, and it met the deadline and all of that. So that was just very touching to be on the receiving end of getting some help.
Well, and I would say just it would be that sounds like it would be overwhelming as far as just how to respond to so much,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's wonderful. And
Yep.
I love that whole family.
Yep. Yeah. You know who I'm talking
Absolutely.
about. Yeah.
Absolutely. John, what you got?
I want to go last if I could. I got a
Okay.
good one.
Okay. All
Not
right.
better than yours.
Well, you don't know what mine is, and it's not a contest. It's all good. We all have wonderful experiences. Mine, I'm going back in time to when I was a stay-at-home mom, and this is when my eldest Leah, she was little. I tried to really watch how much TV she was watching, and we tried to do active stuff, but I would cave in on Mr. Rogers because I love Mr. Rogers. Um, just there's something so affirming and calming and just awesome about his whole presence and everything. So we would watch Mr. Rogers. And she colored a picture and she said she wanted to send it to Mr. Rogers. And I was like, okay, this was before you could access stuff easily on the internet. So I found the address and we sent a picture, and I just wrote like a little note, my daughter colored this for you. I watched you when I was growing up, and, I don't even remember what I said. Several months later, we got a typed letter that is now in a frame, a typed letter. And if you watch the Mr. Rogers documentary, which is fantastic, by the way, you'll find out that he responded personally to every single letter that he got,
Wow.
and he typed out his responses on a typewriter. So Mr. Rogers typed all these letters, and this is his letter from February 2000 to my daughter Leah. Uh, and I'll just read it and I'll try to get through it because it's so precious. Leah, thank you for giving me a picture you colored. Your picture was special to me because you made it for me, and I'm sorry you had to wait so long to hear from us. We've had a lot of mail from our television friends in the past few months, and because we want to take our time with each letter, it's taking us longer than we'd like to answer everyone. I hope you know that your letter was special to me because it came from you. You are such a caring neighbor. Giving someone a picture you made is one way to say, I care about you. And you have many ways to let people know you care about them. One of my ways is to make our television visits, and I'm glad to know you enjoy them. It was kind of your mother to help you send your picture to me. You are fortunate to have a mother who cares so much about you and about the things you make. Leah, you are special, and you make each day a special day for the people who care about you, just because you're you. Your television friend, Mr. Rogers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he typed out a letter to me as well, thanking me for taking the time to do that. I mean, the fact that I made it through reading that, it shows that I have come a long way because, that just floors me that I have that. And my daughter has that. So
That's phenomenal.
that's mine. Yes, yes.
Not a contest, Leslie, but you win, hands down. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not a contest as the person who has a written letter for Mr. Rogers.
Who?
A framed letter.
But I mean, it's nothing I did. I mean, think of that is just incredible that somebody would do that. I mean, it's sort of like your example, Brian. Someone, older than me was doing a lot more than I was. And it's very heartwarming, and it makes you have all the feels to hear an example like that. So, John, do you want to share one, or do you want to?
Yeah, here's what I'll share, and I'm taking a different tack on this. I mean, I've got some personal ones I can share, certainly, but I'll just share my observation about communities in general and goodwill in communities in general. I was very, very blessed. My last assignment in the Army, I was in a position where I was traveling across the country, particularly the Midwest and a little bit in the Southeast, where I was going in and out of communities. And my job was to find the goodwill that each community had for veterans, because my job was to try to connect veterans and transitioning service members to all this goodwill that exists across the country. There's goodwill in academic institutions in corporate America. But really, I mean, I think my main takeaway after 3 years was I was blown away at the goodwill that resides in communities. And I got to observe very firsthand communities that do it really well, communities that do it sort of well, and communities that don't do it well at all. But I just kind of left the military believing in the power of community, because communities have the ability to wrap their arms around people and prop them up if they want to. I mean, if you can figure out how to interconnect all the different nonprofits and for-profits and government entities, if everybody can kind of link arms together, there's no problem you can't solve at the community level. It really is amazing. And I mean, and I'm coming from big Army and looking at this stuff, and as a community, you can either wait for people to help you, you can wait for the state to help you, you can wait for the federal government to help you, or you can say, well, if it comes, it comes. We're going to help ourselves. And having that kind of can-do attitude and shared vision and just collaboration, that spirit of collaboration, it's huge. And and I recognize coming back to Bowling Green. I mean, that attracted me. That I recognize that coming back to Bowling Green in Warren County in South Central Kentucky, that there's incredible goodwill here. There's incredible resources. So
the whole reason that we're talking about community and neighbors and helping and kindness is because we're having our first ever community resource fair. It's called Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and I think it's pretty evident where I got that that idea for the name. But it's happening Thursday, July 28th at the board office. We have the lobby space right outside of our office. We have, as of now, I think 22 different, I don't want to say vendors, but 22 different resource providers, organizations that are coming. If I tried to name them all, I would leave out groups, and I don't want to do that. But I will say we have people coming who help with education, who help with literacy, who help with healthcare, who help with new Americans, who help with, and I'm trying to look here. We've got lots of different resources for people who help with careers, help with career guidance, career assistance, childcare, housing, clothing. We've got all kinds of resource providers coming to this fair. And, I would say that this is for people who are in need of service, absolutely. But it's also to educate people in our community. What happens if you interact with someone who is in need of a service? What do you do? Where do you go? And I think as community members, it's imperative for us to know those things. Let's just like John said, let's take initiative and try to get people to resources as quickly as possible. And that's what this event is all about. It has sort of come about very quickly, and I think that this event shows that, yes, community is important and vital, and, we need to help get word out about these resources. So that's what the event is. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we have a wide variety of people attend. And I think it can only be good. This is a good occasion, and I'm very hopeful that we have people attend.
Attend. You must attend.
Yes, please come. We want, we love our community partners, and we want to help them communicate what they can do. We as a board provide a lot of career assistance, and we work with a lot of people who may have different barriers to get them to that career momentum or whatever. So we're all working together, and we hope that it's a good event. But I appreciate you guys sharing your stories. I think that in the end it comes down to individual stories like this that help, that really give you a sense of community and what it is to be kind and what it is to really have an impact on others.
Yeah, and so I mean, you've been promoting it as wide open to the whole community, so it's not necessarily like you've got to be looking for one particular resource or anything like that. And I think what we're hoping is that the information obtained out of the event perpetuates, regularly, that now there's knowledge and people know and they can refer other people. But the reality also is that there's very educated, knowledgeable, passionate people working at all of these different entities that if they don't know the answer and if they don't provide it, they're going to get you to the person that does. And so you're going to get a whole team of experts that you're going to be able to stand in front of. And if they're not doing it, they'll either tell you the table, that's represented that can, or we could do that, or, somebody can follow up with you afterwards. And so, that's this is just about blasting these services. I think most of them are probably free. I mean, we'll find out if there's anything where that's not the case, but a lot of these are just, publicly funded, nonprofit supported, government funded, like we are, that are here with no cost to participants to come, and there's no cost for this event. So if anything, you just stop by for a little bit, pick up the information from the tables, go pass it on, and take it to somebody that needs it that couldn't be at the event.
Absolutely. Good job, Brian. You need to be the official spokesperson. That was very, very well said.
You may see me flipping the sign out front of and just to say board office too, that WKU South Campus is still what a lot of people know it as. So it's right off Nashville Road, in one of the main prime intersections of town here of Campbell Lane and Nashville Road. We're right off the side of it here. And so yeah, easy to get to, plenty of parking.
Absolutely.
Date and time? Say again.
Thursday, July, is that the 28th? Yes, Thursday, July 28th at the board office from 1 to 4. And, I'm going to add like a graphic with that just on it the whole time. So that way there's no excuse for not attending, because it's going to be front and center. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you sharing your stories, and you all show random acts of kindness every single day just by being you.
Well, thank you, Leslie. I think I agree. I'm probably pretty random. I don't know if I'm always kind, but I fit the random part. Yes.
You got that part down.
I would like to issue a challenge to any of the agencies that are participating, any of the 22, right? 22.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see which ones roll in with a red sweater.
Oh, yes.
We'll see who's paying attention to this. Let's see who's paying attention to Workforce Watercooler.
Right.
You'll get a handwritten letter from Leslie if you do.
That's right.
All right.
Extra points if they sit down and put on slippers.
Yes. If they're wearing those kids kinds of tennis shoes, that would be bonus points. All right, guys, another good one. Thank you so much, and join us again next time.
Thank you, Leslie.